All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Thursday, December 7th, 2017. And this video is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so today, not a whole lot going on astrologically speaking. We do have the moon shifting out of Cancer and going into Leo about midday for most of us, later in the day if you're in Europe or the East. First half, maybe a bit of the emotional side of things. If you felt this yesterday, maybe wanting a bit of security, getting in touch with our receptive side, our private side. And then as the day unfolds, more of the expressive Leo side of things. So shifting into the next few days, really good for playfulness, creativity, and probably wanting a bit of fun in our life can be nice at this time. So today is really just coming off of yesterday's aspects. Yesterday we had Mercury over Saturn, retrograde, and sextiling Mars. So today maybe easing up with anything that was more serious yesterday or you're working really hard at yesterday. But there still is a bit of productive energy available with Mars sextiling Saturn. So pretty good maybe still for productive things, or maybe willing ourselves to take some actions in some way. All right, so let's look at that along with some of the other things here in more detail when we return. All right, so let's start with the moon's placement. As you can see here, the moon will be finishing Cancer. So Cancer is all about that connection to our soul, connection to our feelings. That's been the energy from yesterday. So still be feeling that, but slowly transitioning into creative Leo. So this is the disseminating phase of the lunar cycle, which means the energies are still quite high or strong. But we are noticing that it is maybe easing down a bit, right? Just not that much, but just slowly but surely sort of easing down with that energy. So as we get into the rest of the week, maybe really good for creative stuff, having some fun, wanting some, entertainment in our life, things like that with that moon in Leo. So the sun is closer to a fucus now than Scorpio. So it is the time of the week and going into next week of doing some healing. Mercury retrograde's coming back into here as well. It's been a very deep time with that Scorpio energy, but now this is one step above the Scorpio, which is really about the acceptance of things in our life. And so if you feel any wounds come up or anything that requires healing in your life, really good to do that acceptance for ourselves and maybe help others as well with healing in their life. And this can be a really good source of energy and prana with the sun here. And I do want to mention that the next new moon is going to be in a fucus. All right, so that's going to be in about a week and a half. And that is going to be very close to the galactic center, in fact. So it will be, I think, a very transformational new beginning, having to do with whatever this prelude is now, whatever we're gearing up for before that new moon regarding healing. So this could be laying the foundation for that new transformation around the corner. All right, so here's the aspects for today. As you can see, easing up off of that Mercury over Saturn, sextiling Mars energy we had yesterday. So still an orb technically. Does make it still really good to revisit some things with Mercury retrograde. Anything that you've been thinking about or taking seriously this past week, really good to revisit this. Still great with Mercury retrograde in general to just be flexible, adaptive, willing to learn, try a bunch of different things. Give ourselves a bunch of different options right now. But that open-mindedness can really go a long ways. The sextile up to Mars, however, I think it's going to drag out a bit because it's involving two slower moving planets, Mars and Saturn. So today, with that, maybe feeling a bit like you want to will yourself to take some actions that, may be for your long-term future or may take some time to work on and develop. But there's just this opening here for this productive energy. Could be a really good day for that. It's basically the long-term goals meeting the short-term goals. The drive now for the, let's say, reward later, which is Saturn. So seeing the big picture, having discipline, productivity, all of that is just an opening to utilize here today. All right, and then we do have some minor lunar aspects. The moon will be trining up to Venus, so there could be a bit of cooperativeness, harmony in relationships. It's nice for that. Venus is still in Scorpio, so it is still a very deep time, I think, for relationships to maybe get that openness, that vulnerability, that depth in them, things like that. But it could be very supportive here today. And then we do have the moon squaring up to Jupiter, so there could be a bit of hopefulness, but in inspiration too. But it is good to sort of implement this stuff in constructive ways with the square. Usually squares with Jupiter come across as quite positive. In this case, the inspiration. But with the square, it's good to actually ground it and utilize it in some sort of practical way. All right, and then there's the disseminating phase with the sun and moon, and we do have the moon going over the north node. So there could be, as an undercurrent to all of this, shifting into tomorrow, this maybe new take on our life path, learning something new about essentially that self-expression, which is what the north node has been transiting with Leo this past year and a half, has really been about learning about our self-expression, our creative side, having fun, you know, invoking this inner passion. And so there could be a new perspective on this with the moon going over the north node there here later today. All right, so have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast.